one of his long-held views is that more information is always better, so he does not understand why some people choose to wait to find out the sex of their baby until it's born. This drives him nuts. He argues there is zero economic benefit to waiting, that someone will have equal surprise either at 5 months or at 9 months, and that given all the things that need to be purchased for a newborn, waiting to find out is just mind-bogglingly silly.
Yeah, it's often puzzling that people seem not to want the information. The Huntington's disease, Woody Guthrie died of it. Arlo Guthrie didn't know whether he was carrying it. There's a test, actually, that reveals whether you are carrying it. You can take that test early in life, and you'll know whether or not in middle age you're going to get this dread disease. Most people don't want to take the test. And what's especially puzzling there is that the people who do take it seem happier whether they learn that the result is positive or negative. Even if they learn they're going to get the disease, that seems somehow comforting. They can organize and plan accordingly. So I understand Jenny's husband's prejudice in favor of wanting to have more information. There's some evidence that helps, but not in all cases. There are times when knowing is just going to be a big distraction. And so I think if you imagine that the brain isn't a perfectly rational calculating machine, that it's just really a bunch of protoplasm and it's got constraints, that it doesn't work perfectly, some information is better kept out of it.
And if there was one thing that you thought economists could do to restore their credibility with the general public, assuming they ever had any, what would it be?
You know, it's happening gradually. Neil, the behavioral economics revolution has been in full swing now for 2 decades. It's not true any longer that the young economists assume context doesn't matter for people's choices. How big a house do you need? Well, that depends how big the houses are where you live. The young economists seem to know that. Are people perfectly rational? The young economists are quite willing to admit the possibility that people use rules of thumb to make decisions, that they don't always get it right, but there are systematic errors the way they frame specific decisions that they make. So there's been real progress. I think the old saying goes in science, you make progress with every funeral. Gradually the young will replace the old, and our credibility will be back on target, I think, at that point. We're gradually reestablishing ourselves. We've got a model now that actually does enable us to write about what people do without insulting the reader's intelligence. And as people see more of that, I think economics will become a more attractive way of thinking about the world.
Let's see if we can squeeze in one quick call. This is Gary. Gary with us from Cincinnati. Gary, we only have a minute.
Okay. Well, I'm in the vending business, so we handle snack and pop machines and food machines. And one of the problems we've been having is trying to get the pop price to where it should be to maintain our margins. Currently, we try to charge $1.25. We've had a hard time going there. People think nothing of going into a convenience store, which we're considered a convenience store, and they'll pay $1.37 plus tax. But we have a very hard time getting up to $1.25. Also, like with energy drinks, they'll pay $2.25